Hello, and thanks for watching so far. If you have been watching so far, I hope it's been helpful. Today we're going to continue on with zhan, and you'll note that the way that I've been doing this is building it incrementally. So there's a couple of things to think about this. The first thing is I never buy into this idea of kind of, really torturing yourself or hurting yourself, or I know there's a way of thinking about martial arts training that's like, well, we just throw you in there and you either take it and it's really, really hard, and we'll weed out those who can't take it from those who can. And I know, unfortunately, there are people in each one who talk about, oh, well, when I did it, we did horse dance and we held postures for hours, and also this thing of people talking about, not in a healthy way, talking about holding postures for very long periods of time. By healthy, I mean people who've genuinely done that and talk about how it helped them, how they progressed. Then we've got people who like turn it into a numbers game, and they're bragging to other people and use it as a weapon to put other people down and say, oh, you don't know anything. I used to do standing for 5 hours in horse dance, and I actually don't believe any of that anyway. It's just whatever it is, it doesn't nourish the development of others, and that's what this series is all about. It's what we're all about at 3 Tree Base. It's what our whole project is about, helping the development of other people. So a little bit like sparring, where you've got some clubs who just like, they throw you in there, put the gloves on you, you get beat up and you either come back or you don't. I don't follow that process. Just exactly the same with sparring. I've got as with zhan, we've got like a really scientific method that builds people up from absolutely zero confidence and takes you step by step through to the point where you can put the gloves on and have a ding dong, for most people anyway, can step by step get over their fear. It's just about being scientific in our approach. It's just exactly the same way that the armed forces function. You don't just throw people into a battle and those who can take it get to stay, and those who don't, you train people step by step. You have to. So the other thing to think about then is how we do that, and it's through the incremental process. And you can see that what I've been doing is, we started out, we built up a little bit of strength. I encouraged people, gave people a method and a way of doing it, setting some time aside, and don't worry about just holding your arms up for all that time, just building it incrementally. And then we did 10 minutes like this, and then we did 15 minutes like this, which is a little bit easier, and then back to doing 15 minutes like this, which is a little bit more challenging. And today we're going to move on and we're going to do 20 minutes, but we're going to follow the same idea that we're building incrementally. So we're not going to do this or this, we're going to do this posture, which is significantly easier in terms of the ask on the muscles. And one of the important things to learn here is it's very often not that, it's very often the time itself. So even just standing like this really useful exercise, just standing, that's very often done in Tai Chi, particularly Chen Tai Chi, where you just stand very relaxed like that. Just to set aside the time and do that. Say you're going to do that for half an hour, or 40 minutes is the time that Wang Shenjai recommends for holding a posture. To do that for 40 minutes is more about the psychology of just spending that time doing it. So that's also what we've got to build. And hopefully this posture, which is called a bear holding a stone or bear holding a stone posture, it's going to help us learn a little bit about that. Because certainly if you can do this for 15 minutes, you can certainly do this for 20 minutes. The posture itself is really interesting because it begins to really teach us something physically. And I've talked about this idea before, and Wang Shenjai talks about this idea that until your body knows it, you don't really know it. Your body has to learn it. It's experiential knowledge. So this feeling of holding the Tao, the idea that there's something there, that you feel like there's something solid that you're holding it, and then playing with that balance between intent and use of muscles, and just try to get it at that perfect point where it's minimal muscle use and the intent is just like linking into the trigger points that just trigger the feeling of the movement, and how that then intensifies the movement. And I've talked before about this being partly because you're using such a minimal amount of your actual physical musculature to for example, to press in to feel like you're holding a ball. And this is one of the things anyway. I mean, there's lots of neurological things going on with isometric posture holding, but this is one of the things that creates this sense that there's something solid there. And one of the reasons that we can know that for sure is that when we do the bear holding a stone posture, that it really intensifies this feeling. It's much easier to get this feeling and expand your experiential knowledge in this regard. And the reason for that is very simple, that when you do it like this, that there's very little strain on this. You'll feel the strain here mostly, because that's what's holding up the arms. And this is kind of free, and you eventually feel that feeling like there's something there. But obviously when you do it like this, there's more strain. These muscles here come into play much more. They're having to support the arms this way directly in a way that they don't here. It's more on the top here, and that's why you feel it on the top all the way down here. When you do it like this, then this comes into play much more, that the weight of your forearms is being put under a little bit of stress. I know it's not the right word, I just cannot think of a better word in English than stress. Just put under a little bit of stress to get this feeling. And similarly, you can just lie on the bed and put your elbows on the bed. It's a posture that Zhan recommends, and you can kind of get this feeling very strongly as well, like after a bit. And that also teaches something really useful experientially, because it takes a little bit of time. If you lie on the bed and do it that way, that's the time method, and this is like the increased stress method. So usually you can get the feeling much more quickly like this. So there's two different ways of getting this feeling of holding down. I mean, they're interrelated, of course, but one is just like there isn't much muscle strain, but you do it for longer, and the other is like you put bit more muscle strain on straight away, and you get the feeling much quicker. It doesn't mean that you can stop doing it sooner, unfortunately, but you get the feeling much more quickly. So that's what we're going to try and experience today. And I'm also going to try and not talk too much, because I know I talked too much in the last video. Just a little bit to kind of explain the feelings that we're getting as we're doing the posture. So the posture itself that we want to use, the bear holding a stone posture, feet not too far apart, and legs bent as per usual, just bent a little bit at the quad. Your feet can be further apart. I've said before, I usually prefer a bigger zhuang anyway. And the hands are like this, like you're holding a round stone like that. And remember to keep this space under the armpits, keep this rounded space. It's nothing to do with helping your lungs breathe more easily. What some people believe is just, I can't. It comes from not pursuing your training in relation to practical fight outcomes, the reality and context of the fight. Once you deviate from that, you just start making up ideologies around postures and ideas, because you just don't know, because it's experiential. You need the feeling of actually hitting something and sparring, and how this all links into all the concepts we've been talking about, to understand how this system, the Yiquan system, is integrated from the most basic training through to the most sophisticated stuff. Like Hansi Huang says, it's got to be integrated from the top to the bottom. So we keep that feeling like that, and it's just like we're holding a big stone like that. And you'll pretty quickly start to get the feeling that there is a stone there, that you are holding a stone. So first thing to do then, remember, limber up a little bit, go to the toilet, relax the neck. That's always a big important one. Circle the hips, stretch the legs a little bit. All those. I'm not going to talk too much through this one. I'm just going to explain a few of the feelings that we might be getting at certain points. I know I talk too much. It ruins it a little bit. I know that ruins the concentration. I'm timing it by the news again. I don't normally time standing, I have to say. It's not like... But I did, obviously, as you know, everyone does when you're starting out, but after a certain point I just gave up. There's no point, it's about feeling, it's not about length of time. It's another reason when people talk about length of time standing, I just think, who cares? Sometimes there's 1,000 years in 5 minutes of standing. And people who've experienced that know what I'm talking about. And the dog may bark. Big stretch up. And it's nice just to stand like this, like Tai Chi Chuan, standing meditation. Well, now I've got an eyelash right in my eye. The moment you start thinking about standing, you immediately start becoming more body conscious and feeling things in itches, and it's amazing how that happens. So just stand for a bit. We do 20 minutes, there's less than a minute to go. We're going to do 20 minutes. You can do this. And I just lost, loosen off. You stand there next to me. We'll go out later. A few seconds to go. Okay, let's go. So what we don't want is any tension, so we don't want any anxiety about doing the 20 minutes. So just assure yourself that you're not going to take it to that point where it's painful. That you can just relax if you can't quite do the 20 minutes. Otherwise you'll be really anxious about it, and then that'll put tension in your body. Understand the sophistication of the sports science. Just like any sports person, when it really, really matters, their mental state affects their physical state and puts tension in the body. And they suddenly can't do the things that they can do all the time in practice. It's one of the things we're training. So let go of that tension. You can put your arms down if you can't take it and just start again. Try and get up to the 20 minutes. Some nice deep breaths as you relax into it. Imagine that ladle of warm water being poured over your head. And let's just stand for a bit. So you may feel just like a little bit of pain in your wrists. That's quite common. That's because there's too much tension there. Just relax off. And you also may, very interestingly, feel that more intensively, like if you're right-handed in your right hand, if you're left-handed in your left hand. Now really visualize that you're holding a stone, a big stone. You might get a really interesting sensation at the moment you start visualizing it. If you're feeling some like pain in your arm, down your bicep, under your armpits, it's also just completely natural. That intensifies the moment you think about holding a stone, big stone. It's just helping you become more body conscious. It's not magic. Your intent flooding into your whole body. Your legs might keep pinging a little bit left, right. Your knees might give. It's fine, it's just the body taking up higher level control, learning how to do fine tuning on those muscles. You've just never had to do it before. Just try and squeeze up a little bit, just like when we did the holding a ball and you just squeeze in a little bit. It's called bear holding a stone because the feeling should become more intense than that feeling of squeezing in the ball. It should be like there is a big heavy stone there. At this point your muscles should be burning more oxygen, so it will start to change your breathing. So just go with it. Some deep breaths to facilitate the change. Then just let your breathing become a little bit deeper, just as if you were training in the gym. focus on time, focus on the feelings in the body. Even the pain, just embrace it. Play games with your intention. What can you feel? Shift your intention or your attention to different parts of your body. Your knees, your backside. Think about, are they relaxed? And just focus like on your knees. Just focus on the muscles above your knees. Are they relaxed? Just unscrunch them. Your backside muscles. Just relax them. Remember that feeling like you want to pee but you don't. And shoulders. Are they relaxed? Focus on relaxing them. Try and feel it all over your body, everything relaxing. From here, if you want, you can try a different visualization that wherever you are, that who you are, expands out into the room. Like you can feel the walls, or if you're outside the trees, you can feel them. Who you are, expanding, pressing against them. I'm visualizing that who I am is pressing against these walls like I could just burst the whole building open. I'm feeling that physically in my body, like I'm pressing against the walls, the ceiling, the floor, like I could explode like a nuclear bomb. And straight away I've got to recognise that I'm like I just tense a little bit more just through visualising it. So then I've got to relax more, got to play with that, the right point between tension and relaxation. Another visualization you can use, if you feel that stone, you feel that it's there. Now you can feel in your mind, feel in your arms, like you're tearing it apart. Looks like it's ripping apart. Like your arms are pulling out and just ripping that stone in two. Visualize it crumbling and snapping as you break it. Not long ago. As you visualize it, just notice your fingers tensing with the visualization. It's how powerful visualization is. Just relax them again. Keep that feeling like you're ripping that stone apart. Come on, you can do it. Don't give in now. Almost there. There's less than a minute to go. Don't give in now. Intensify the feeling. Get that feeling through your whole body, like when something spooky happens. Like you can feel insects crawling on your skin. The hairs on your, as you focus more intensely, the hairs on your body stand up. Get goose pimples. Really feeling that now. Just with the intensification of the visualization, nothing to do with the posture. Just intensifying the feeling. And goose pimples everywhere. Almost there. That's it. 20 minutes, well done, relax. Drop the arms, big breathe in. Out. Right to the last bit of breath. And then, goodness me. Oh, I was really getting the feeling now. I was really getting the goose pimples all over my body, and like I was like a massive giant ripping apart like the top of a mountain. Talk about that feeling another time, it's very important. Loosen off. Circle. You know all the stuff to do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you loosen it up as well, love. So well done, 20 minutes. If you manage to do that, that's great. Again, if you're just like following along, you have to stop. If you have to stop, you have to stop and just loosen up and then come back and start again. Build up to it. You don't want that tension of worrying that, oh, I can't do this, and being down on yourself and thinking, oh, you know, all these people doing 5 hours a day. And don't worry about anything like that. just worry about your progression and just pushing it a little bit so that you step by step you can build that ability to do it, and you'll get there, don't worry. Well done if you did 20 minutes. Thanks for doing it with me, thanks for watching. I'm not going to talk anymore. My voice is going a little bit. But other than that, well done, thanks very much, thanks for watching. One love, I'll see you in the next one.